A very good morning to everybody, and good afternoon and good evening wherever you are. Thank you again for joining us for Track 2. My name is John. I am your host for Track 2. For this session, we are very, very privileged to have Mukesh, who is the RPA manager for Boundaries Group. And he is actually being very kind to spare some of his valuable time to run this workshop titled the Robotic Process Automation with Generative AI. As you know, generative AI has been the talk of the town recently, right? Especially since ChatGPT launch or get introduced to a lot of us. We get very excited these days, anything to do with generative AI. So we will be very eager to listen to Mukesh for him to share with us on what is this RPA got to do with generative AI. Mukesh, how are you today? Good to have you with us.
I'm good. Thank you, John, for the invitation. Excited for the session.
No worries. I'm going to hand over the session to you
Yeah,
for you to take us through the workshop itself. Hopefully, we will learn a trick or two, or should I say, we'll be blown away with your sharing in that sense. All right,
yeah,
over to
yeah.
you, Mukesh.
I am going to share my screen and let me
Yes,
know
please.
if you're able to see that. Okay,
Okay,
I'm
just
sharing
waiting for
it.
that to show up. Perfect. It's coming up now. Yes, we can see the screen. So take it away, Mukesh.
Okay, great. Thank you so much for joining this session. Today, I would be talking about robotic process automation, RPA, along with the term generative AI. And here are my slides. So first of all, a quick introduction about myself. My name is Mukesh Kala. I have a close to 10 years experience now in the industry. I am working as an RPA manager with a company called Boundaryless Group. I am a UiPath most valuable professional for the last 3 years, 21, 22, 23. Additionally, I also have a YouTube channel which is called Tutorials by Mukesh Kala, where I teach UiPath and RPA stuff to mostly freshers, beginners, and some advanced tutorials, right? And this is my LinkedIn QR. Feel free to connect me to. I would be happy to connect with you, all of you, right? And today I am going to talk about something which is called robotic process automation and the generative AI, right? But before I go to this topic of robotics process automation, I wanted to I think you guys have access to the chat, right? Have you heard of this term RPA in past, robotic process automation? Have you used any of the tool, or is it the first time you are hearing this word or this technology, right? What are your views? I'll just keep an eye on the chat, right? Have you heard of this term RPA, UiPath, or any other RPA tool? You have a background, right? So that I know that what kind of audience we have, right? You can just use the chat. So I'll just post here. Okay, let's see. Yeah, okay, 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 right. So I can say that we have a mix of audience, right? So first of all, whenever I say RPA, and the full form of RPA is robotic process automation, right? So whenever I say robotic process automation, the first thing which comes to mind is the robots, right? And people think that, hey, we are going to build something walking and the talking robots which we see in the movies, right? So to first things which I want to clear is that whenever I say RPA, robotic process automation, we are not talking about the walking and the talking robots. We are talking about the software robots. So RPA is a technology which can automate anything, whatever we do with the help of keyboard and the mouse. Be it like giving an input to the system, extracting the output, a robot can do everything. You can think RPA as a technology. It is just like hiring an assistant and you say that, hey, I am fed up with doing all these tasks. You go and you do this task by yourself. That's why we have something which is called a technology called robotic process automation, right? So just take an example, right? Let's say John. So John and Mukesh are working together in a company. John is a new hire. I tell John that, hey, John, on daily basis you have to go to a portal, you have to download the data, put it in an Excel, create some reports and send an email. So John would be happy to do it for 1 day, 2 day, 3 day, 1 week, 2 week. After that he will realize, hey, I am getting bored of this work. This is mundane, repetitive, I'm not learning anything new, right? It's just like copy pasting, I'm not getting anything. what should I do? He feel frustrated, but it's a job, right? Somebody has to do it. That's where robot come in picture to take all your boring kind of stuff and free yourself to do the creative and the decision making task, right? So RPA is a technology which takes all your mundane repetitive tasks. We just have to tell the robot, hey, do this, do this, do that, and the robot will do it for you. It can mimic the human actions. It can click, it can double click, it can type, it can extract the information. All of that is there which robots can do, right? So that was a bit summary about the robotics process automation. How it is helpful execution wise, speed is definitely the robot. When I say robot, now it's software robots. So the robots are execution wise very fast as compared to the humans. Enhanced accuracy, as a human we tend to make mistakes. So if I'm doing something, I can make mistakes, but when the robots are doing, they would be doing it with 100% accuracy. There is a word called compliance which all of us would be able to relate, right? So let's say, let's take an example, right? We have a data which is a very confidential data which is with some systems, and we want nobody to have access to that data. Now what I can do is, i can create a I can create a process, and I gave this access to some person, and I tell that person, hey, you are not supposed to go and touch that data. But I can trust that person, that's fine. But at the end of the day, let's say something happens, some compliance breach happens, and the data is now not there, right? Somebody mismatch with the data. But with the robots, if there is some confidential data, you can always improve the regulatory compliance, because if you don't tell the robot to go to that database to touch that file, the robot would never go there. The fourth point is reduce cost of process execution. It's simply like if the human user is doing, right, you have to teach the human user, you have to train them, you have to make the systems available. In case of RPA, the cost of execution reduces. And the last and the important one is the scaling. So for example, you are having a company and you are having a process volume of 10, let's say 10, 10 transactions. So for 10 transactions, you have one employee. Tomorrow, the volume increases from 10 to 100. What you have to do? You have to hire new people. You have to train them, get them resources, get them onboarded, make their identity card, provide them salaries, and a lot of things, right? With the RPA, this does not happen. In case of RPA, it is just like scaling. You just go to the portal, click on a button, and it will automatically upscale or it will downscale. Tomorrow, I have a increase in volume. I just go to my server and I just increase the number of robots. If I don't want, I just come and decrease my number of robots, right? So that was a quick introduction about RPA. I'll just take a pause if you guys have any questions, right, on this RPA. Do you find this interesting? Just looking at the chat.
We're getting a lot of thumbs up, Mukesh. I think this is something
Yeah,
definitely of interest to a lot of our
yeah,
audience today. So yeah, please
yeah,
proceed. Very, very interesting.
yeah. Okay, great. So that was about a quick introduction about RPA, right? But was this RPA or this process automation always there, or how does it has evolved, right? So let's take a step back, right? It's not like that this process automation was is a new thing, right? So you guys might be aware of something which is called macros, right? So today if I have to do something on the excels, I always can record a macro and do that. So previously the human user was doing 10 step in the excel, an expert came and he automated with the help of macros. So what you have done, basically you have automated the process. So there was some traditional process automation applications which were there. Macro is an example. But what were the challenges? The challenges were, as soon as the environment changes, the data changes, we have to rework on the data. There was a lot of challenges when it comes to handling of the unstructured data, structured data, reading the data from the documents. Excel was still fine, but then there came a challenge where you have to grab the data from an excel, put it into the website, get the data from the website, put it into a citrix, put the data back into the database. RPA, traditional RPA were able to do that, but it has a lot of challenges. And to overcome these challenges, we got some new technologies or some new terms which are sorry mentioned here in terms of intelligent automations. So intelligent automation came which were able to do all of these things intelligently by combining technologies like AI, ML, RPA come as an picture, and all of this was absolutely low code. Previously, if I have to do something, I have to write a lot of code. We need high skilled developers who need extensive coding and all, right? With the introduction of this technology, everything became low code. It's all about you getting started with this technology, right? And in the upcoming session, I'll show that how easy RPA has made it, right? So with that, enough of talking. Let me show you how easy it is to build an automation with UiPath Studio. So when I say UiPath, it is the tool which is available for you to do the automation. So for example, if I have to do programming, you can do it in Java, C Sharp and all. Similarly, if you have to do RPA, you can use multiple tools. One of the tool which I am using is UiPath. I am a UiPath MVP, and UiPath is a leading tool in the RPA, right? You don't have to trust me. You can go to the internet, do your own research that why UiPath is leading. The reason behind UiPath is leading, it's not only an automation tool, it has the capability to manage your entire robotics fluid, right from the process discovery, process management, automation, testing, management, hypercare, automation, chatbots, process mining, task mining, everything it has, right? So with that, I'll just minimize this slide, okay? And I'll just pull up something which is my UiPath Studio, right? So this is a code editor, right? Which we as a developer use to create an automation, right? So first time whenever you look at, you might be feeling it as a bit here and there because you are looking it for the first time, but trust me, you might be looking this for the first time, but when I start automation, you would be like, Mukesh, give this tool to me and I'll automate myself, right? So this is a UiPath tool, right? I have created a new project from here, file, new project, absolutely same like you create a new process. I created a new project, right? Now for example, let's start with something basic. I have this notepad application. Okay, I'll drag and drop it here. Now, I have a task. So sorry, John, because John is here. So I give John a task that John, on daily basis, you have to go to a notepad. You have to type hello. Then you have to go to file. Then maybe you have to click on format. You have to click on font. You have to change the font. Do something on the notepad, right? So now if the same has to do by a human, he would do all the steps. How easy the robot can do it, right? So for example, I have to type something on this notepad. I'll go to the activities here, right? So activities are the building blocks of any automation. Building blocks means what do you want to do? So I go here into the activities and I search what do I want to do? I want to type. So let's search here type. Okay. And you can see here, I'm getting that you have element, keyboard and type. Do you want to type with the keyboard? Type secure text if you have password. So I drag and drop this activity called type into here. And this activity is now available. Now it is asking me, indicate on the screen, where do you want to type? So I indicate it on the screen and I point it to this where you want to type, right? It is guiding me, provide me the text, what do you want to type? So let's say I want to type hello viewers. Save this. My automation is done. Did I write a lot of code? Right? What do you guys think? Did I write a lot of code? Right? I just dragged an activity, right? So I'll just show you one more thing. So let's say after this, I want to click on this button view. So to type, I have used a type into activity. Now, if I have to click something, let me search here and I say click. And I am getting something which is called all these events, classic, click. I drag and drop it here. Now it says, where do you want to click? I say I want to click on this button, let's say view. That's it. If I save this automation, I go to the top and I say run the automation, right? Okay. Compiling the activities, automation started. right? It will see, I created this automation in front of you, right? And then automation started. You would see the robot, that green hello viewers started, and then it will do whatever instruction we have given the robot to do, right? So that is how easy it is to code in this thing. But now you might be thinking, Mukesh, you are an experienced developer, you already know what to drag and drop. I am an absolute beginner, I do not know what do I have to do, right? Is there a easier way than this? The answer to that question is also yes, right? So let's say the same automation, I'll delete everything. You have to do some automation. You are absolutely no idea you have what this UiPath is, but I want to do automation. UiPath Studio have this feature at the top on the design, which is says recorder. Recorder simply means like we have a camcorder and the camera. Why do we record? I go to a nice location, I record a video so that I can come home and I revisit that moment or the video, right? Same happens in this. You record your task and the automation would be done by UiPath for you, right? I click on that button, app/web recorder. The recording started. App recorder has started. I can pause this, save this, everything. Let's say whatever I want to do, I go here, I click. So now I'm doing the actions which I am supposed to do, right? And in the background, what is happening? UiPath is automatically creating the automation. What is the value you want to type? I want to type hello robot, right? Confirm, action recorded. Then what do you want to do next? I want to click on this button, let's say format, action recorded. Then I want to click on this button which says view, action recorded. I want to click on this button file, action recorded. Once I am done, I can click on this button, save and return to studio. See, complete automation is available for me. Not only that, I can always go here and customize this hello robot to something else, right? So now if I save this, I go here, as you can see, I remove this, go here, and I'll say run the file. What happens now? Whatever I have just recorded, the automation will do the same, right? And the automation started. Okay. And whatever we just recorded, right? Hello robot, go to the format, go to the file, go to the file, came out, right? I'll take a pause to ask you guys, you might be having a little bit knowledge of the programming, or you might be an expert programmer, right? If I have to do with this any other programming language, right, would it be this easy and this handy? What are your thoughts, right? Meanwhile, I'll just open an application. And do you think it is easy? Just let me know your thoughts. I'll just open one application for you meanwhile. Okay. Okay, so I'll take the question at the end, guys, so please park your questions for the end. So I'm just opening one application and I want to show you that it's not only restricted to the notepad or these applications, right? It can operate on the web. It can extract the information. It can type, do a lot of things, right? So I'm going to go to a test website, which is a of UiPath test website, right? So I'm going here. So this is a login, same like I use the type. I can use the robot to type, go here. The passwords are also not stored by robots. You have any questions on this password policies and all, I would be happy to answer at the end of the session, right? So now let's say I have a use case where I have to extract all this information. Page 1, page 2, page 3 till page 10, I have the information, and I want all of this information in an Excel file. Now, if a human user has to do it, he will come to the first page, he will do the copy, paste it in the Excel, then come back here, go to the second page, third page, fourth page. So today I only have 10 pages. Tomorrow it might increase to 100, 200 pages, right? If an RP robot has to do it, see how fast and how easy it is to develop such kind of solution also, right? So I'll go here, I'll create a new sequence, which means a new kind of a file in the same solution, right? And I want to see at the top, you might be seeing something which is called table extraction. I want to extract a table. Click on the table extraction. right? Select the data to extract. Low code, all of the things are available for you. Select the data to extract. I'll point it to any one of the field, and the robot intelligently is able to give me, would you like to extract all the columns? I say yes, right? All the columns are extracted. Now here there is a toggle button, extract data from multiple pages, yes or no. If I say no, only first page is extracted. I say yes, I want to extract. Now it says indicate the next button, right? Where is your next button? So I can move this. Where is my next button? My next button is this. It will indicate it, everything done, save and close. My automation is completed. That's the only automation I have to do, and this is completed. Now if I want to write it to an Excel, I'll go to the activities and I'll use Excel here, right? All the activities whichever available for Excel will pop up here, right? So you want to write it to the CSV file, you write it to the Excel, all of that activities are available for you here, right? So I want to write it in the Excel, so I will use something called write range. I have been using, so I know the direct activity, right? So I'll go here and I'll say write range, right? Then it is asking me, where is your workbook path? Where do you want to keep the data? I am saying that I want to keep it in data file.xlsx. It's asking me what should be the sheet name, right? So sheet name should be RPA bot. And now it is asking me what is the data you want to write it in the Excel. So I am saying whatever you have extracted from this activity, the output of this activity becomes input here. So whatever you have extracted, extract to is here, extract data table, pass it to this here, extract data table, and that's it. Your automation is completed. If I go here and I say run the file, what would happen? The UiPath robot will go to our website. It will extract all the record from all the pages, extract the information, create a new Excel file, dump the data, and the process will stop, right? So I just use the built-in activities of UiPath, no coding, right? As you can see, the green indicates it has started. At the keep eye on the URL at the top, you would notice that the robot is changing the page. Page number 4, page number 5, page number 6, page number 7, 8, 9, 10. It goes to all the data and it dumps the data to an Excel, right? It's not only restricted to extracting and this. Now, once the data is available in the Excel, I can put it in an email. I can load the data to a database. I can do some data manipulation, calculation, create pivots, graph, charts, right? It can be any use case, any enterprise level use case which is working on these data sets, right? So now as you can see, it has came all the way to the last page, page number 10. It understand that yes, this is the last page. I have written no logic to make it stop, right? It is working. Now it would be creating that Excel file in the background and it will put it. Now whatever you are seeing it on the screen, but when the robots execute, all of this happens in the background. So you don't have to see like this we are seeing on the session, right? Even if I lock my computer, this automation will work in the background. So you don't require a human user to sit in the computer, look at this automation, click here and there, right? Automation completed. It took 1 minute 4 seconds here. If I go to the project, hit a quick refresh, you can see the data file.xlsx is created here. If I just double click and open the file, right, it should have all the data. See, RPA bot is the sheet name. Whatever data you told, it has extracted all the information from all the pages for you. So that is how easy it was to extract the information and do the manipulation, right? The good part about this thing and how it is different is that even if this website change the layout like this, tomorrow if it happens that it change it to something like this, then also it will work, because UiPath works on the concept of selectors, which means that even if I minimize this browser, then also the extraction would be able to happen. So how that is possible? So if you go into the deep down of each of these activities, you would notice that All of these activities are working on the internal structure, how the developer has created that website. So if I go here into the target, you would notice, see, it is going to the HTML msedge.exe, which is the Edge browser. It is going to the title, this. Then if you go for the next button, it is actually going to the HTML. This is the next button, selectors, right? So till the time the developer comes and change the internal HTML of that website, right, this guy would work, right? But that means that the automation will fail? No. Still, it will try to work on a fallback mechanism, right? So what exactly is a fallback mechanism? I just want to talk a little bit about it. So for example, you are writing an automation where you have to click on this button, which is home. So tomorrow the developer change the spelling, the color of this home. So how does a UiPath robot work? So first it goes and look for this button, which is home. Then the next thing, at the time of the selection, it will also generate something which is called the fuzzy selector. Like home, tomorrow it changed to home page. So it will be able to relate that yes, this home and this home page are equal, which the level of accuracy. The second thing it also create an anchors. It create a reference. So it will say that, hey, I am going to find this home via this reference of work items. So whatever is there in the work item, it will take a reference of it and then it will take. The other thing is, if both of them fails, it also create a screenshot. It also creates an image, which means that if this element is not able to find, it will look for that image of that element and then it will find. And if that image also fail, then it is going to use the computer vision technology to find it. And all of this, whatever I have explained, as a developer, I don't need to code. All of that is taken care by the UiPath robot itself. All of that is already done here in these settings, right? So whatever I have shown you, whatever I was talking, all of this is already done in the robot. I just have to utilize it, right? So that's how easy it is, right? Okay, so now let me go back to my presentation. Okay, so now till this point I have talked about RPA, which was robotic process automation. Now where exactly AI is fitting in this picture? We understand that robot can do to the website, go to the browser, extract information, do the calculations and all, right? Where exactly do I require the AI, right? So for that, I have this picture for you, right? So on the inner circle, whatever you see, these are the tasks which you can relate a robot can do, such as moving the file and folder, copy paste, email, data, login, capture the task, scrape the data, databases, right? All of this a typical RPA robot is able to do, right? But what happens if I have an automation use case where I have to classify the emails, right? I am receiving 100 emails, the robot is able to read the emails, that's fine. But now the robot has to identify that yes, this is a complaint email, this is an appreciation email, this is an email for the new joiner, this is an email for the leaver, right? So classification email, that's requires some kind of intelligence. That's why we require AI. Understand the document, a pretty very good use case of the artificial intelligence is the document understanding, where every company deals with a lot of documents, invoices, receipts, PO, contracts, legal documents, right? Robot has now the capability to understand the document, extract the information. It can be native, scanned, we'll talk about it. Chatbots, if you have to create chatbots which can interact, speech to text, mine the task, unstructured data, semi-structured data, forms in the VDI, virtual environments, you have some data inside the virtual environments. All these things are something where I require RPA and AI. Now sometime it is like RPA versus AI, right? This is RPA and this is AI. But if you are looking at an enterprise solution where you are looking for an end-to-end solution, it should be RPA plus AI, right? You cannot go RPA versus AI, because AI can do one part, RPA can do one part, but if you combine both of them together, it would be a handful of tools for you to play around and get more and more benefits from the automations, right? And with generative AI coming on top of this becomes more handy, right? So Why AI, right? Let's talk an example about the documents, right? So that everybody of us able to understand, right? So let's say you have a business which is document intensive. Now you have some problems like you have customers, you have purchase, you have different variety of documents. So you are a business who are dealing with mortgage, loan and inventory. So now you have different kinds of documents which are coming for mortgage, loans, inventory and all of that. Then you have different variety of documents. So when it comes to the loan, you have, let's say, personal loan, car loan, bike loan and all of have different format and different people along with different language, right? Now some of the data are there which you have the documents which are invoices. Some of the invoices are coming as a scanned PDF, some are native PDF, some are coming in an email, somewhere you have to use text to speech, right? So all of this is a business which is a document intensive high business, right? How does RP and AI will come in picture? AI is going to take care of the email, invoice, reading, writing of the data. But if I specifically talk about the AI, right, these are the varieties of documents which a business can have, right? And trust me, these are only the few if I have taken. You can all relate to, right? Invoices, explanation, legal contracts, medical, utilities bill, receipts, purchase orders, packing slips, right? Packing slips, credit cards, passports, right? Intensive data. We have in UiPath something which is called a library of document understanding, where for invoices, it is able to identify English, Australia, Chinese, Japan for billing, all these kind of billings. It can extract the information. When I say this thing, it simply means that if you are having a process which is dealing on tax and you have 1040 form, UiPath has a model which can identify 1040 type of documents, extract the information for you. Now, when it extract, your document can be a scanned one or it can be a native, and this is just the starting of the library, right? It is expanding on daily basis. This is how the AI works on the top of RPA UiPath, right? So you choose a model. When I say model, it is depending on your requirement. You can be having a document understanding requirement. You can have sentiment analysis where you have a list of emails which are coming, right? Some email appreciate you, some emails are the complaint emails. I can do a write a robot which read all the data from the email, understand the sentiments. Wherever it's a complaint, I tell the RP robot to reply to the customer an apology email. Wherever it is an appreciation, I code the robot to say that, hey, just say a thank you, right? Or get additional information. What do they like? What do they dislike? So the model which you're going to choose is sentiment analysis, which analyze the sentiments of the business. Then you deploy that model. It will consume, manage, improvise, right? Typical ML cycle, what happens? It You take the model, you give the data, extract the output, and the model itself retrains as well, right? Then you drag and drop into your UiPath Studio. This is the guy which I was showing you, which is your RPA. So this is how RPA and AI are working together. UiPath has something which is called AI Center. The AI Center, you deploy your model, drag and drop into your UiPath Studio, same like I was dragging and drop activities. You just drag and drop the ML model, make the decision points, and you do it, right? And very interesting part here is that since this is an ML model, it is not always 100% accurate. Sometimes the ML model says that, hey, Mukesh, I am 85% confident that this email is a, let's say, complaint email. So what it will do is it will create a task for the human, which means that humans in the loop will come in picture. It will share I email to Mukesh saying that, hi, for this email, I am 85% confident. This is the content of the email. I want your validation. I'll click on that task on my email. It will open the detail for me. I'll say that, yes, you are correct or you are wrong. Provide my additional comment. The model will relearn and it will do the decision making, right? So it's not like that you have to leave everything to the ML. You have always a human which is there in the validation in case of exceptions. And this is all automated, right? You directly have to click on your email. All of this can be managed via your mobile phone as well. right? So in case you think that you have to sit in front of computer, validate everything, the answer is no. It's an app. It comes the notification, you click on that, you open the task, you validate it, save it, and the robot takes it from there, right? So all of this is how UiPath and the AI is working together. Okay. So now AI is available in all the phases. So in RPA, whenever I talk about RPA life cycle, right, it's not only about building the robots. You have to discover, right? So if you are a company, if you are a CEO, CTO of a company, and you want to start automation in your company, you are having a lot of processes, lot of employees. How do you know which is the correct candidate for automation? How do I get started? How do you calculate the ROI? Or how do you know that what would be the benefit if I go and automate this solution? And to answer that question, you have something which is called process mining and task mining tools. These are all AI supported tools, AI powered tools, sorry, which works scientifically identify the automation opportunities in your organization. So they will go, they will record all the tasks whatever the humans are doing, create a nice report, show you that if you automate this process you are going to this ROI, right? So AI is infused in the discover phase. Then when you are building the automation, like I was showing, document understanding, you have artificial intelligence, computer vision, which can see through the screens. You can build your own models as well. When it comes to manage, right, if I am a matured company in RPA, I have 100 robots which are working. Now I want to deploy, scale, and manage. I have something which is called AI centers, I have something which is called insights. And lastly, engage. How can I bring human users with the AI and the robotics? I have something which is called action center and the chatbots, right? So AI is infused in RPA UiPath in all the different stages of the RPA lifecycle, right? So yeah, with this I would take a pause. If you guys have any questions, right, please do post it on the chat, right? I'll answer all of them after this session, right? So, and just let me know in the chats, are you finding it interesting, yes or no? Is it something new for you or you are already aware of it, right? Before I go to the next section, which is the generative AI and how this RPA and both of them are working together, right? So I'll just wait for 1 minute, right? Okay, great. Thank you for the thumbs ups. Great. Now, till this point, I only talked about RPA. I talked about how AI is working, but now the world is talking about generative AI, right? How generative AI is going to work with RPA together, infused with RPA, right? And how does it work in collaboration, right? Let's see that in action. So, first of all, generative AI, for the people who are not aware of the generative AI, is a class of artificial intelligence, right? It's a branch of the AI which generate new contents, right? So generative AI which generates new content identifying some patterns on the pre-existing data or on the data which you provide, right? Chat GPT is a classic example of it, right? So generative AI isn't a theoretical concept, it is now available. It is able to do and solve a lot of real-time problems, including solving the problem statement. I'll show you some of the examples by live with the RPA, right? This technology is just gain efficiency, but it is unlocking new inventions, new dimension for innovation. So previously the use cases which used to stuck at 95%, 98% with RP and AI, with the introduction of Gen AI, now I can say that I can automate 100% end-to-end automations, right? Now, what are the key characteristics of generative AI? So all of us can relate. The first one is creativity, right? Generative AI system can create the content based on whatever you give, right? So I can give some points, some data to the generative AI and say that, hey, create a song for me using these keywords. I can give some characters and I can say to the generative AI that can you write a story, right? So you can be creative, learning from the data. These systems analyze the large data set, analyze the patterns, right, and then give you the new results, right? So AI was previously there, right? Why this suddenly this generative AI become so popular is because of the data set. right? So previously, whatever the data set we were using for this AI model was very small. With the generative AI, and particularly if I talk about OpenAI ChatGPT, they have a huge data set which becomes the power, and it gives you very, very quick and very handy results, right? uh, if I talk about application, it can be used for generating images, writing the text. It can go to the PDFs, extract the information. Some of the examples of the generative AI are OpenAI ChatGPT 3. Right now we are in the ChatGPT 4. You have something which is DAL-E. You might have heard of it, which is capable of generating the images based on the content whatever you provide, right? So it is able to do all of that classification, recognition, and all of that can be done with the help of Gen AI, right? Now, if I talk about how RPA and Gen AI can work together, for that, let me show you a demo, right? So I'll go back to my studio, this one, okay? So for example, today I have a use case, okay? And I'll go to this, I'll just open this folder. I'll just open some invoices for you, right? So that all of us are able to relate with the use case. Invoices. And the invoice which I have used is, okay. So here are some of the invoices, right? You can think it of any of the document, right? It can be invoice, it can be contracts, POs, or anything, right? Let's say I have some sample invoices, and if I show you this invoice, right? Yeah, this is the invoice. Now, if I have to write an automation, or I have to write a use case where I have to extract this information and I have to put it into some portal, right? So RPA would work if this is in a fixed format. First invoice is same, second invoice is same, third invoice is same, fourth invoice is same, right? So that would work perfectly. Then if the format changes, so for example, the invoice, the pattern of the invoice changes, so this information is here, this information goes here, the bill to is coming at the bottom, right? Different invoice may have different format. So for that I have something which is called a document understanding, where I can teach the RP robot every time that, hey, you have to work on these kind of documents. But now, what if I have to build a use case for both the use cases which I talk? The customer has to be, or the robot has, you have to tell the robot, hey, I want to extract the total, I want to extract the VAT, I want to extract the due date, I want to extract this information. But what if you are trying to build a use case where you are not sure what the question could be? Right? So I am a customer, I have this invoice or any document, and I can ask any set of question, and my question can be in a random English as I'm speaking, right? So it's like I'm speaking to assistant, and I say that, tell me the total of this invoice, and I say that how many items are there in the invoice. Then I have to retrain my model, I have to understand the sentiments, and all of that we have to do a lot of coding on top of the RPA, right? That's where your generative AI capabilities come in picture, which can understand this document, extract the information, and show it in a way that you are able to utilize, right? And since we are using with RPA, what does RPA would help, right? So before that, let me show you how does it work, right? So I am again in my UiPath document understanding, right? I'll go here and I will use an activity called extract data. Sorry, extract document data, my bad. I'll go here and I say extrac extract document data. I'll drag and drop it here, right? Okay, now it is asking me where is the project, right? So I would say that, hey, this is my own project, which is the predefined project, the same one. It is asking me, how do you want to extract the data, right? And I say that It's loading. What do you want to extract? As I was showing in that list, right? It can be anything, but in case you have a use case where it should be generative, so I go here and I say generative. Okay. Then if we are using generative AI, you have to give the prompt, right? What is the prompt, right? So before the prompt, let me provide the input file. Where is your input file? So I'll just go to the same folder. I'll just take this PS path. I'll provide this as an input file. Sorry, I can pass the direct path of the file like this, or you can use this folder button also to pass the file name, right? Okay, I think I made some mistake. I'll just go here and I'll pass the input invoice one. Okay, so that way it takes the local resource path, right? And now it is asking me what is the prompt, what is the set of questions you want to ask. So I can click on this button and it is showing me the key and the value. Key and the value, it's like what is the question you want to ask and what is the information you want to get, right? So this is my total. So let's say I want to have a key which is like items, right? And I can ask the question in a plain English like this: how many items I have in invoice, right? So I say I have in invoice. It's able to relate. Add an entry. So let's say I want to know who is the bill to and ship to, right? But I will not write bill to and ship to, right? I would just like, let's say parties, right? And I would ask a question: who are the two parties in invoice? So if you see this invoice, right, it has nowhere mentioned that how many items. The word parties is also not mentioned here, right? All of that is not available. So I'll say save, and that's it, right? So what I have done is I have used a generative AI and provided this data to this thing, right? So what I'll do is I'll just go, I'm not printing the output and all, I'll just go here and I run it in a studio and we'll see the output directly in the console only, right? So what is happening now in the background, UiPath robot will go, it will go to that document, it will see, it will read the document, interpret it, understand the document, then it will come back, read my prompt, and then give me the answer, right? And see here, I have not configured it with anything, right? This is a direct drag and drop activity which is available inside UiPath for me to utilize, right? So execution has started, it is running, interpreting the documents and all. And that invoice, it can be a scanned PDF as well, it can be multi pages, 10-page PDF as well, right? So I can write a solution where I provide a legal contract which is, let's say, 10 pages, and then I can ask a question. So execution has stopped here, right? So as you can see here, in the extraction results, I'll just open this extraction result. See, I'll just expand it. Okay, I cannot expand it, so but you can see it here, right? Items is equal to 4 and parties are John and Jessica Norman, right? So see here, the parties are Jessica, Normal, and that, right? From John to Jessica. So this was built to and shipped to, but this was from, right? So it was able to understand that yes, I am talking about the John and this Jessica, right? So this is how easy it is to use generative AI with the existing set of RPA, right? Now you can, this is just one middle block of the automation. You can have the inbound and the outbound set to this automation, where let's say this document, as of now I am hard coding here, right? I have hard coded here. Now imagine where RPA would be required. Let's say this document is in amazon.com. All of these documents are embedded inside all the orders of amazon.com. So I want to write an automation which will open the browser, go to the amazon.com, view the orders for the last 120 days, download the data, keep it in my E drive, and then I instruct this guy that instead of hard coding, just take the data from that. So that's where I would require RPA. And then to extract and answer the questions of the human, I would use this guy. Once I have the data, I can use one another robot which can take the data from this source, put it in an SAP, put it in a database, put it in an email, send it via chatbot, right? And on top of this one, right, I provided my input here by just typing here in the prompt. So all I have to do is I can devise a chatbot on top of it, right? I can wrap this complete solution in a chatbot where I ask the user, provide me the question, whatever answer I get it from here, throw it back to the same chatbot. It can be chatbot, you have apps embedded inside your website. This solution can be working in the background, do all the stuffs, right? So this was just to show you that how these two technologies are working together. Okay. And what is more interesting is that you have this screen of OpenAI, right? So let me tell you that as well. Okay, so I'll go to my browser and I'll just open one website, which is this one. Okay, so we have the generative AI, and the most popular one is the OpenAI, right? So I can always go to the openai.com. So this is, I just want to give you some additional information here, and I'll just open one more service. Okay, so this one I was just doing it for the documents. You might have a other use case, right, where you want to uh, do something on the natural language conversion, where you want to do something on the sentiment analysis, where you want to do something on comparison, right? So I come to this website, I go to this section of I'll just log in first, right? So I am using the GPT-4 as of now. This is what you're seeing. You have this chat GPT, and then you have this option of AI. So I go to this one, API, right? And then here you have all the list of capabilities which the Gen AI provide. Full generation, delegation, functions, and everything you have, right? Whatever you require. Let's say I want to do something on text generation. I go to this API document. All of this are available here. And what it gives you, the OpenAI gives you this complete JSON input, right? So all you have to do is just copy this data from here, go to your UiPath Studio, invoke this model, provide your endpoints, and whatever response you want, you will directly get it into your UiPath robot, right? So this document shows you everything. And now where do you get this API key and everything? That you will get into here. And this documentation is very, very easy. If you have a little bit knowledge on how do you use APIs, UiPath has activities which can invoke the APIs, right? So in case there is something you are not able to accomplish with the default activities, you can come to the sources. It can be OpenAI or any other generative AI tool for that matter, Amazon or anyone. You just get the API detail, copy this, Node.js, Python, whatever programming you want to use, copy this, take it back to your UiPath Studio, paste it there, provide the data, extract the input, and come out, right? So that way your RPA plus GenAI are working together, right? And let me just go back to my presentation again. Go here, right? So you just go to, this is how you get the OpenAI keys. This is just for additional information for you guys. You just go to the openai.com, this one. You go to your account, you say view the API keys, create a new secret key that will generate a create key, pass it to the same API document I was showing, copy paste it in any of the application, and you should be get started directly with an API of generative AI, right? It's that easy, right? And yeah, so this is Postman, right? So in case you want to test the APIs, you can use the Postman, which is again a tool to test the API. Once you get the output here, copy paste this into your any of the solution, right? So to utilize it, you just have to go to openai.com, get the API key, test it, and then use it, right? And lastly, I want to show you one sneak peek of something which UiPath is working on, right? And which will be very soon available. So if I go to my this one, right? So this is my, as of now, I was writing the automation into my UiPath Studio, right? So this is an application which was installed into my computer. But now let's say I am a developer, I do not have my machine. I want to do the automation on the web. Can I do that? The answer is yes. UiPath has something which is called Studio Web, which is here. See, this is my Chrome browser, right? On the Chrome browser, I have opened this guy, which is called the Studio Web, which allows you to do the automation directly on your browser. So I can create the new project here, everything. Some templates are by default available for you to get started. You can click on this and you can get started directly on your browser, deploy the automation, run it from there, and it will do the processing, right? How generative AI is coming here is that, let's say I want to write an automation today. I'll go here and you just define your requirement. Okay, so I say I want to, okay, so let's like this, write an automation, okay, to read the data from Excel, sorry, and then upload the same to Google Drive. And then you can just keep writing, right? There is no automation which is doing this as of now with UiPath. You can create a new project, but let's say you're a beginner. I go here and I click on generate. Now, what is happening? UiPath is reading your prompt, it is understanding what you require, and it will generate an automation template for you. When I say automation template, it is nothing but the activities, whatever you are dragging and dropping, right? You don't know, right, where to get started, what to do, but I want to do this. It is generating this. The output of this would be an automation, which would be a template for you to just connect it to the Excel, connect to your Google Drive, and this. See, it start, open the Excel file, read the data from the Excel, save the data to a new file, upload the new to the Google Drive. I say continue in Studio. What would happen? This will open into my UiPath Studio Web. I'm not even talking about the installable which is installed on my computer, and this is the complete automation which is available on my Google Chrome. Now all you have to do is connect to Microsoft OneDrive and the SharePoint. Where is your Excel file, where is your folder, right? Because it won't be able to get what is the data, what is the workbook, what is the range of the data, does your data has headers, anything whatever you can think of from an Excel. Where do you want to save the data, right? And when you say that I want to upload it to the Google Drive, you have to connect to the Google Drive. I can click on that. That will open my, again, the same authentication of the Google Drive. It will ask you that which Google Drive you want to connect. You are giving the permissions, you run the automations, and you have all of that ready within just a matter of click, right? So that is just which is coming into UiPath, right? You will see it soon. As of now, available in preview, right? So that's where the product is heading, right? So that was it, guys. I wanted to present today. Thank you for being an awesome audience, and I would be happy to address your questions now. Yeah, over to the John. You are with me.
Mukesh, that was seriously exciting. You made it look so simple, right? I think everybody will be very excited now to really grab a copy of UiPath and perhaps try it out, I guess. All right.
Yes.
It's just so straightforward and simple. We do have a couple of questions in the Q&A. Allow
Yeah.
me to perhaps project them out. Uh,
Yeah. Yeah. Sure.
First question, let me just put it up. This is from our audience, Gunalan. He's asking a question. Is that possible that extracting data from PDF file and key the data into an application, perhaps? I think you did show that, right? So you want to just
Yeah.
perhaps
Yeah.
add on a little bit more, Mukesh?
Yes, Guna. So it is absolutely possible. It is a native use case of UiPath to extract the data from PDF and put it into an application. I just want to add some additional information. Your PDF can be a scanned PDF, your PDF can be a native PDF, and with this new capabilities, whichever I was showing, right, it was able to extract the handwritten information,
Hmm.
signature, check boxes, tick boxes, right? All of that can be extracted, right? So I hope that answers.
Right. Just to add on to that, Mukesh, what about the accuracy, right? Especially when we have a lot of the
Yeah.
so-called forms that were scanning, right, into a PDF, right? Especially the old-fashioned handwritten forms. I mean, what is the accuracy of that?
Okay, so accuracy is dependent on what kind of OCR engines you are using, right?
Right.
So UiPath has a built-in UiPath OCR engine,
Hmm.
but you can bring your own OCR engine. Let's say you are getting a good output on the ABI, you can
Right.
directly use the ABI OCRs,
Oh,
right?
okay.
And
That
then
works as well, right?
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So in case you have an option to put a different OCR engines, you can have this, and accuracy you can set. And as I previously told, if
Hmm.
your model is not confident, it will generate a trigger for you that hey, I extracted this information. I'm 85% sure. Can you
Right.
confirm? You confirm, and it goes right. So
Right. So,
all of
so,
that
so
is
it
possible,
does at least some of the preliminary work, right? Okay, that's
right?
fantastic.
And it retrains itself also. Just to add,
Cool. That's pretty cool. So Gunalan, so I hope that answer your question. Not like I said, there is an engine and there is also a bit of an accuracy depending on the engine that you apply. Thanks for that. Right. Let's move on to another question. Question number two. Let me just project it out. Can you share specific examples of industries where RPA and generative AI have successfully combined? I think what the question is trying to understand, where have this use case been used, leading to significant improvement in process and outcomes. I think that's a very, very
yeah,
interesting question. Mukesh, over
yeah.
to you.
So I didn't see the name. Okay, so I'm going to share you two use cases. One is of the document processing, which I just shared,
Yep.
right? Where you have documents which are coming into different formats, right? So let's say you are a vendor, so
Mhm.
you are a supplier, and you have different vendors. Now different vendors have their own set of receipts format. I
Right.
create it in left right, somebody create in right left, right? So
Mm,
that's one use case where you can use generative AI to extract the information, do this manipulation and all. The second use case which I want to talk is on the legal side of it, where you have legal documents where you are
oh,
doing
yeah.
business worldwide, and you have documents which is in different language, right?
Mm,
Chinese, Japanese, different languages. You have the contracts, right? And
yes.
you have to match the contracts, English, Japanese, extract the information and then do something, right?
Right.
So you have to write an automation, or let's say a process which reads the Japanese, understand the context, and then give you the information, right? Rather, I can provide this Japanese document to my generative AI and say that hey, this is a Japanese document, convert this to English,
Mm,
find me the answer of this question, that when is my contract going to expire, and show me the evidence, right?
mm,
So generative AI model, what it does, it goes to that, convert it, gives you the English version, and highlights the area that hey, this is where I got this information. Tomorrow if you don't get this, don't blame me, right? This is the evidence, right? So you don't have to go through the 50 pages document, right? You just
oh, yes.
go to those three lines and say that yes, this information is correct, right? So these are the two
Fantastic.
use cases. N number of use cases, right, are available. I can share the resources maybe afterwards. You can just drop
Sure.
me an
Sure.
email or LinkedIn message. I can share a lot example on that.
Yeah. So just
Yeah,
just to follow up on that, so it's not just for legal kind of a perspective, right? That you want to check on the
yeah,
contract. So assuming I play the role of a internal auditor, that I wanted to check certain information, right? That you have a lot of electronic documentation in order for help me to quickly sift through that information, right? This is also, I
yeah,
think, potentially a good use case, I presume, Mukesh.
yeah, yes, absolutely.
Okay, so guys, hey, there you have it. So Mukesh is saying that as long as you have a reason for that, there is a way that we can actually
Yeah,
do it. Absolutely. Okay, great. I'm excited now. Let's move on to the next question. Let me put it from project it out. So it says, looking ahead, what emerging trends or development do you foresee in the field of RPA and generative AI integration? And how can business prepare to leverage those advancements for competitive advantage? Oh, this is a very strategic question, Mukesh. Would you want to try?
Yeah. Yeah. So, see, RP and generative AI definitely has the integration, right? But what I have seen and what the business should do is
Hmm,
one tool or one technology cannot be an answer to all the questions,
right.
right? So you have OpenAI, you have Amazon, you have something from a different vendor, you have from
Mhm,
Microsoft, right? Different tool or different capabilities, or I would say AI would give you different responses. So how you have to prepare is, you do not have to be an expert in everything, but at least you should be aware that tomorrow if I am getting a invoice use case, I know that yes, it can be done with the generative AI. I know yes, it can be done with Abby. I know it can be done with the Amazon,
hmm,
right? So how the businesses can prepare is that, for the good part is, if you are the customer, you are on the safer side, right? You have all the vendors providing you the services, right? But all
correct.
you have to do is, you should know that how do I integrate my existing solution to that. The second thing is, tomorrow if the use case come, is my infrastructure ready to
Hmm,
connect to those, right? So okay, I want to do generative AI, I want to connect to this, right? But my company do not allow me to expose the API or hit the API, right?
true.
Where do you going to get the data, right?
Yep.
Your company do not have access. Where do you want to send some of your data to a OpenAI database, right? You cannot leverage, right? So what you can do is, you can prepare your infrastructure within your company, kind of data, what kind of data, legal, compliance, security, see which all tools, or I would say AI technology, are giving you the proper results, and then be ready for the use case, right? And as an industry expert, you always know that what my customer is working on, right? What kind of use cases they are working on. So you have to be
Right.
prepared for that. I hope
Right.
that answers.
Sure.
Anything you want to add, John, on top of that?
Yeah, I think more importantly is to engage people like yourself, who is a subject matter expert, to give some suggestion, right, or the way forward that you can do that. Yeah, so don't forget to connect with Mukesh on LinkedIn, and maybe you can take this offline as well. Should you have any
Yeah.
question of this sort as well?
Yes.
Right. Cool. Let's proceed to the next question. This one is from Amira. She's saying that can we use this to auto fill in forms? So this is the other way now. Just now, I think
Yeah.
we were reading information from the forms. So she is curious to say that, hey, could we do this to auto fill in the form and help it to submit form in a website, perhaps? Would that be possible?
Yes, absolutely. It's a traditional classic example of RPA where you have to fill the data, right?
Hmm,
Just to give you an example, Amira, so recently we created a use case where we have to generate and, let's say, onboarding letters for the students, right? Now all the onboarding data is available in the SAP, which is a company ERP where they store all this information, right?
right.
Now a software robot is going, it's going to the ERP, extracting the information, putting it into some kind of form, creating it a document, and sending it to the people, right?
Hmm.
And just to let you know that when it comes to the autofill, there also generative AI has came in picture. There is a
Ah,
new tool which is in market, which is called clipboard AI, right? So
interesting.
you open Excel, you open the web page simultaneously, go to the Excel, copy the data, do a control C, and the clipboard AI automatically will fill the relevant fields in the,
Wow.
it is able to understand that here it is first name and here it is written name is the same thing, here it is written phone number and here it is written this, is exactly the same. And this tool is absolutely free to use. The name of the tool is clipboard AI. I think one of my speaker who is in this upcoming session is going to give you the
Hmm,
demo for that, right? So
cool.
that's why I didn't cover, because I don't want to take that interesting part here, right? So just to let you know, Amira, that yes, there is a tool which can do this copy paste with the generative AI as well.
I think this is simply amazing, Mukesh. I mean, once we sort of kind of look at the business situation, right, and
Yes.
trying to appreciate to say, hey, how does RPA and generative AI can actually help me to do my work faster? I mean, giving back me more time to tackle other business problems or or things that I should be focusing on, right? Or maybe
Yeah.
engage more with my customers in that sense, right? Fantastic. Let's move on. We still have a few more questions. I hope you are okay with that, Mukesh.
Yeah, yeah,
Let
yeah.
me just
Sure, sure. Yeah.
project the next question. So this is from Somali. He's asking, we have seen in Amazon customers who bought this can also buy this item. So this is part of an RPA with generative AI. I think this is specifically on the
Ah, okay,
Amazon side.
okay.
Yeah.
So on the Amazon side, whatever you see, right, that customer who bought this can also bought this, right? So it's not a use case of RP and generative AI, right? It's just a model where they have. It's an example of AI where they have fed
Mm.
all the data to a model, right? And where they see that, okay, if Mukesh is buying a laptop and all the previous customer who have bought a laptop, it is very likely that they are now going to need an external mouse, or they
Oh
are
yes.
also going to need a pouch, right? Or they are also going to need a cover for that, right?
Yep.
So that's how it is showing the recommendation to you. To answer your question, it's not a use case of RP and generative AI.
Mm. So I think that that is actually more of a suggestive engine of sort,
Suggestive,
right?
yes.
Which
Yeah.
is outside the scope of RPA Somali. I hope that answer your question. So what you're asking for is actually just like Netflix, right? So
Yes.
I like to watch some of the action movies, and my wife like to watch more of the love story drama. So when she logs in, of course, Netflix with the generative, or should I say,
Yes.
the suggestive engine, right? We say, hey, John, would you like to look at this? The up and coming shows on Netflix that you might enjoy, looking at your past so-called viewing habits or experience, right? So I think that's more a suggestive one. Hope that answered the question. We do have another one. Let me just project this out. Right, this is an interesting one. You say, what advice would you offer to businesses considering the adoption of RPA and generative AI? I think that's a very general question, particularly in terms of selecting the suitable use case, measuring the return on investment on this technology. So I think there's two parts of the question in that sense. So Mukesh, over to you.
Okay. So see, whenever for the businesses, right, whenever it comes to any of the new technology, right, if I talk about RP and if I go 5 or 6 years back when we
Mm,
started RP, it was difficult for us to convince people that there would be something, an RPA, which would do your task, right? People are
yep,
hesitant. Hey, it's going to take my job. What about my data privacy? What why my data security and all those steps, right? Then came an era of digital transformation where everybody who wants to go to the digital transformation, right? So the people who were early adopters, right, and now the people who have not adopted, now they are suddenly seeing a shift to this generative AI era of the world, right? So now people who are in already in RPA, it was easy for them, it's an easy step for them, right?
correct.
No, nothing, RPA, and now people who are not doing RPA, and now suddenly somebody tell that, hey, let's do AI, right? So it's difficult for them to take that huge leap, right? So what
Yep,
is the business, right? You can understand the trend, right? You can test the waters, that's what we say. You can do small POCs, proof of
mm,
concepts, right? See, is it actually working for you? And you don't have to do everything, right? That's also
yep,
something, right? If everybody is doing, let's say, uh, any other thing, right? So if everybody is doing NLP and all, you there is something which is called fear of missing out, right? Do
yeah,
you really require that, right? The answer to that question is, does your business really require that, right? You may be in a financial domain, right? Let's say bank and all those structure, right, where your main focus is your banking industry, right? You don't want to have those kind of features which are not applicable, right? So suggestion would you be, as per your business, you have to see where your industry is moving towards and which AI capability is suitable for you. And the use cases and ROI would be only be visible to you once you start testing the samples, right? You can just do a
mm,
small POC. You can talk to some experts, right? Say that, hey, we want to do some use cases. See what is your development cost, how much
mm,
time it take, and what do you get in return, right? It should not happen that the developer itself is taking 6 months and the saving you get is 1 month, right?
correct,
So that's
correct.
where the plan comes in picture, right? So
Mm.
you have to uh, take care of these things, right? So I hope I was able to make justification to the
Yep,
question,
sure.
but Yeah.
So just to add to that, actually, from
Yeah.
us, from Sibian, we do conduct this free
Hmm.
session, a half day, what we call the RPA Discovery Workshop, that we can actually come in to look at your existing process to help you to determine if RPA is the right technology for your organization. Again, it's
Yes.
free. Those of you who are actually attending this session, if you're interested, do drop us an email at info@sibin.com. We'll be happy to take that out offline to help you to do that. Now, the other part on the ROI, a lot of people also ask me when I actually do consult with them. They said, John, how much money do I save and all that? I said, hang on, guys, seriously. You need to look at it from the time saving perspective, because the time that you save will allow you to be more productive, right? So I think that's should be your key consideration when you before you even talk about the dollars and cents. The dollars and cents will come when you have a high volume of transaction. I think like Mukesh was sharing right just now, extracting information from the website where it's got 9 pages, right? I was simply amazed, like it go page 2, page 3, page 4. So there's a lot of information when it's repetitive, where it's voluminous in that sense. Yeah, that is where you see the ROI. Now, if you have only like 10 transactions per day, probably the ROI is not going to be there, right, Mukesh?
Yeah.
You agree in
Yeah.
that sense?
Yeah. Yes. Yes. It takes time. It takes time, right? So you have to be a
Mm,
proper planning, which process to automate, when to automate, where it is going to deploy it, right? So it comes with a plan, right? So you cannot directly jump and say, let's build it and let's deploy and let's wait, right? It has to be in a proper planning phase. Yeah.
right. Okay. Thanks for that. So let's move on to the next question. Next question is from Gunalan again. So it says that if the data is overlapping, possible to extract, and can we apply this on multiple programs in one time? I think he's concerned about data duplication of sort, Mukesh, if I
Can
understand
you
the
put the
question
question
correct.
on this screen, John? That
Oh,
would help me.
sorry.
Yeah.
Oh, hang on. Am I correcting? Hang on. Let me just quickly
Yeah.
bring that up again. Hang on. Where are we? Sorry. This. Let me. Okay, here we are. Sorry, didn't click it properly. Here we
Yeah.
are. That's the question
I can see
from
that.
Gunalan. So I'll
Okay.
repeat the
It's the
question
data
again.
is
Is it
over.
possible the data is overlapping to extract, and then we can apply this on multiple programs at one time? So this is a
Absolutely.
concern on duplication of data, right? So how do we perhaps validate in the RPA logic of sort, Mukesh?
Yeah. So if the data is overlapping, possible to extract and apply this on multiple programs at a time, right? So UiPath has a concept of transactional processing. So
Right.
transactional processing simply means that if there is one transaction, same like a banking, right? If I credit something, it should be debited from somewhere. If I debit something, it should be credited on somewhere, right? It is a single transaction which is not have any relation to the other transaction. So
Hmm.
now if your data is overlapping, I would simply upload the data to separate transactional management mechanism, which is called queues in UiPath world, right? So if we have two set of data, I would have two queues which would be uploaded to two separate queues into the process. Now these are two separate pieces of information which have no relations on another. And
Hmm.
when the robot is processing, in case the first one has to go to an SAP, it can go and put it to an SAP. The second one has to go to a database, you just have to go to a database, right? While uploading the data to the queue, I'll simply add a flag saying that this is for SAP, this is for database, this is for Excel,
Right.
this is for email. When the robot is executing, it will say that, hey, this is for SAP, let me extract the information, put it into SAP. Absolutely possible.
Right. So there is a way to prioritize or even differentiate, right, where
Yes.
the data needs to go to in that sense. So there is no duplication of that sort, right? And more
Yes.
importantly, just to add, Mukesh, I think I'm not sure if we did explain clearly was that there is also a log file for the RPA robot when they complete the job. We can also put in some checks and balance to say that, hey,
Yes.
was there any error detected when the robot
Hmm.
was running, or if there is, what are the subsequent action that I, as an operator, needs to look at, right? So I think that's also
Yeah.
a bit of an assurance in that sense to so-called not to worry too much in terms of the duplication is actually auditable in that sense. Right, I have
Yeah.
another question here.
Yeah.
Let me see if I can quickly project that. Okay, hang on, just close this. Right. Okay. So this is from Muhammad Ismail. He's asking,
Yeah.
if I do a lot of automation, would it lead to high RAM or CPU intensive usage? I think he's concerned on the configuration part, right? Do I need
Yeah.
to upgrade my hardware if I want to use a lot of automation in that sense?
Okay, so Mohammed, right? So before I ask, come to your question, right? I just want to go one step back. There are two kind of automations. One is the attended, and the other one is the uh, unattended, right? And there are some automation which works in the background, right? So for example, you have to copy paste a data from one folder to another folder, right? All of that can happen in the background, and one point of time you can have multiple background processes automation working on your computer, right? So that way all of these are working in the background, they are sharing the resources and everything done, right? But now let's say you are doing an automation which involves an SAP. You are doing an automation which involves a SQL Server Management Studio. So the
Mm,
robot has to interact to this application, let's say SAP. So the robot will open the SAP. It is going to consume your task manager. It is going to be visible on your task manager. It is going to consume your memory, right? Now let's say you are writing an automation where you have to extract data from a website, and the website is opening on a Chrome browser, and in that Chrome browser you already have 10 tabs already open, and the 11th tab is opened by the robot. Then yes, you are going to have a uh, work on the you have going to put a pressure on your RAM or the CPU intensive thing, right?
correct.
Now
Yep.
what do you need to do that? So as a developer, it is your responsibility to make sure that your environment is clean, you do the automation right, and you close the automation properly. So if I have been in your place, right, in Mohammed place, if I have done with the background automation of thing, I'll make sure that I release all the resources. When I start my SAP automation, I make sure that my browser is closed. When I start my Chrome automation, I make sure that all the other 10 tabs are closed, and then I open a fresh one,
Mm,
right? So when we do the development, we take care all of this, and if still this is not happening, I will go and just update my hardware to the higher version. So
yep.
hope that answers.
Correct. So, Ismail, just to add on to what Mukesh is saying, right? Especially if you're doing a developer, right? I think nowadays, right, you need to look at a slightly higher spec in terms of the baseline for your hardware. So, if you're having a laptop, again, my recommendation would be to look at least a 32 gig of RAM, perhaps a i7 at the very minimum as a standard. Of course, you can go higher than that, but that will be the base model that I would recommend to look at. Again, if you're interested to discuss more, do drop me a link or connection on LinkedIn, or drop an email at info@cybian.com, or even connect to Mukesh. We'll be happy to take that question as well. Right, we have
Yeah.
another question here, Mukesh. Let me just project it out. This
Okay.
is from Guru Raj. He's saying that, so if my data is only in email, can it pull the email, look at the file, extract the file, take the data and put it into an Excel from, say, email of the last 25 days with prefix ID from a specific customer or person, right? Then create a decision board of sort. I think that's a lot of logics or question behind that.
Yeah.
I'll leave it
Yeah.
to you. Yep.
Okay, so if my data is only in email, right? So UiPath can have a native integration with the Outlook. It has a native integration to a lot of other tools as well, right? When I say native integration, drag and drop the activities, select the folder, select the account, it reads the
Right.
data, right? When you're reading the email, the robot is going to ask you how many emails you want me to read. 10, 20, 30, 40. Out of
Mm,
this 10, 20, 30, 40, you want me to read the unread emails or only the read emails? Just a matter of click. You click, I want to read 25 emails, unread emails, and then I have an option. Do you want to put any filter? I say that, hey, I want to read only the email where the sender is John and the
yep.
subject is RPA. Filtered the emails. Then you have, then it is going to ask you, do you want to download the attachment? I say yes. Then it is going to ask you, where do you want to keep the attachments? I say that D colon data. Then again, it will ask you that, do you want me to download all the attachments or only the Excel and the PDF? So you say only I want Excels. store it
Mm,
Excel, and then when you have the Excel, you write logic to put it into the data, right? So all of this is available. You just have to tell the robot what to do. It's just a matter of clicks. All of
right.
these settings are available.
Yeah. So, Guru Raj, I hope that answered the question to you. Don't think we have any more questions, Mukesh. I think that's a very, very interesting session that we have so far. We have very active participation in that
Yeah,
sense from our so-called attendees. Thank you for that. Right. Allow me to also mention that we do have the next session coming up. Let me just quickly share the details. We in the next session on the hour on track one. Let me just quickly share my screen. On track one, we do have Animesh as well as track two, Eric, who is going to talk on two different topics. Again, Mukesh, thank you so much for sharing with us. It was very, very educational. At least I also learned a few tricks from you, despite my so-called brief understanding of RPA. I hope the attendees do find that so-called exciting. Like I mentioned before, we do provide a free half-day RPA workshop for those who are interested. Do drop us a quick link or message at info@scibian.com. We'll be happy to help you. Again, Mukesh, thank you so much for your time. Really, really enjoyed the session in that sense. Thank you, everybody. Hope to see you in the next
thanks, John.
session track. All
Thanks,
right.
everybody. Have a good
Thanks,
day.
guys.
Bye.
Really appreciate it.